Chapter 67 The Rabbit. Turning a street corner, the three of them arrived at a dilapidated police station. Standing at the entrance was a rabbit-headed person. "Here we are," Naohil said. "It seems like it's already over." Tisha glanced at the rabbit-headed figure. It looked like another woman. Her mask was tattered, and her suit was covered in dust, clearly a human rabbit. This meant that if Officer Lee had really participated in her game, he likely wasn't in any immediate danger. "Want to play my game?" the rabbit-headed person asked with a smile. Kaizhou shook his head. "I just want to ask if the man and woman who joined the game before are still here." "A man and a woman?" The rabbit-headed person crossed one arm over her chest and rested her chin on her other hand, looking somewhat coquettish. "You're talking about that strong young man, right?" "Yes. That guy doesn't know how to enjoy himself," the rabbit-headed person replied, flicking her hand dismissively. "I told him he didn't need to follow the rule, just spend the day with me, but he was so wooden about it. Getting impatient. Where is he?" "You know," the rabbit-headed woman said with a sly smile. "You're not bad looking yourself." She suddenly reached out and touched TXIA's face, startling him. "Although you're not as strong as him, if you spend a day with me, not only will I give you the rule, but I'll also tell you where that guy went. What do you say?" Tijal pushed her hand away and turned to Lao and Lincoln. "Forget it. Let's search around here." Lao and Lincoln understood they shouldn't get involved with the Zodiacs and followed Kajal, turning away. "If you want to find him yourself, you better hurry," the rabbit-headed woman called after them with a smile. "That young man is badly injured. If you're too late, it'll be too late to save him." "What?" Tijal froze for a moment after taking just a few steps. "Why is he injured?" Tijal turned back, confused. "Is your game that dangerous?" "Not really," the rabbit-headed woman said, twisting her waist and taking a step forward. "My game is an escape type. You know, I set up very intricate traps. But that guy, he relied on his strength and tried to brute force his way through. What could I do?" Tijal said nothing after hearing this. He turned around and suddenly spotted fresh bloodstains on the ground. His face darkened. "Let's go." The group followed the blood trail forward. From the amount of blood, Officer Lee's injury shouldn't be too severe. It seemed that the rabbit-headed person was just exaggerating. Soon, they arrived at the entrance of a pharmacy, where the sound of objects clashing could be heard from inside. "Clear." Someone was inside. "Officer Lee," T. Shaw called out. The noise inside stopped for a moment, and then Lawyer Shang emerged first. T. Shaw? She looked somewhat different, her once neat appearance now disheveled. As if she had just been in water. "What happened?" T. Shaw asked. "Where's Officer Lee?" Lawyer Shang's eyes widened, and she grabbed T. Shaw by the arm. "Please help me. Officer Lee's done for." "What?" T. Shaw was confused. They had followed the blood trail all the way here, and it seemed like nothing more than a smaller mound. How could he be done for? The three followed Lawyer Zhang into the room, and a strong scent of rust filled the air. After walking a few steps, they found Officer Lee, his body drenched in blood. For a moment, they couldn't tell where he had been injured. He was sitting on the floor, his lips pale and his face ashen, completely drained of strength. What happened?" Lincoln trembled as she rushed forward. "Officer Lee, where are you hurt?" Officer Lee turned his head slowly to look at Tijaw and Lincoln. "A faint?" A bitter smile appeared on his face as he weakly extended his hand, as if he wanted to say something. Shaw looked down, and his heart skipped a beat. This wasn't a matter of being injured somewhere. Officer Lee's entire right hand had disappeared. At his wrist, there was a jagged, rough break. It didn't look like he had been cut off, it looked more like it had been torn off. It seemed he had used a piece of wire to tie around his arm in an attempt to stop the bleeding. The wire was tightly embedded into his flesh, causing the nearby tissue to turn purple. As a result, only a small amount of blood had flowed from the wound. "My God!" Lincoln wanted to help, but quickly realized there was nothing she could do. Lawyer Zhang, what happened? That rabbit's game. Lawyer Zhang gritted her teeth, biting her lip. That woman is a psychopath. TXIA's eyes grew colder. He approached Officer Li, wanting to say something, but every word seemed to choke in his throat. He had imagined many scenarios for when they would meet again, but nothing could have prepared him for this. Lawyer Zhao, take them outside. Officer Li suddenly said, I want to talk to Tizhao alone. Talk alone? The others looked confused. Lawyer Zhang thought for a moment before nodding and leading Lincoln and Lao out of the room. Once the others had left, Officer Li gave a bitter smile and said to Tizhao, why the frown? You look like you've been wronged terribly. Tizhao sighed and could only say, I'd offend you. That rabbit. No. Officer Li shook his head. Don't get involved in her game. TXIA's words caught in his throat. He didn't know how to respond. Officer Li smiled weakly. Have you found a way out of here? No, Tizhao said dejectedly. I think I was wrong. I haven't found a way out, and I even got Yao Ji and killed. With only Officer Li left, Tizhao finally expressed the sadness that had been weighing on him. I made it all seem too simple. Officer Li's pale lips twisted into a strained grin. He shifted slightly to make himself more comfortable. What's wrong? Officer Li asked. Is there something you can't solve? Xiao didn't know how to explain what had happened with Xiao Zhao and could only shake his head. Now, even the one person he trusted, Officer Li, was going to die. Tizhao felt his headache coming on again. He shook his head and, trying to act normal, thought, why did you leave me alone? I have a few things I want to say before I die. Officer Li reached into his pocket and pulled out a battered cigarette pack. Inside, there were 2 moldy cigarettes, probably something he found in some abandoned building. He placed one in his mouth, then patted his other pockets, muttering a curse under his breath. I forgot I didn't find a lighter, and now I won't even get to have one last smoke before I die.